Okay. Sorry about that again. I don't know what happened. It just went straight up to 0 again, out of nowhere, from perfectly fine to 0. Maybe there's some weird internet thing going on my end, but that time YouTube went down, so I do believe that was me on that time. Time before with just Twitch, I don't think that was just me. But everything's back. Should be back. So, back to what I was saying slash doing. So, I mentioned the thing about if you want me to play a particular game, let me know. Anybody, even a VOD watcher, I will take that. Because I just enjoy playing games that people want me to play that kind of fit this aesthetic, you know? I like survival games, I like crafting games, I like RPGs, Outward's kind of all of them together, but it could just be a survival game. It could be, you know, survival crafting, it could be, I mean, most of the time survival games are survival crafting because you need to, like, make stuff, that's what makes them fun. But yeah, like, anything that you guys can think of that kind of fits the criteria of a good kind of survival crafting thing works for me. Terminally unknown, hello. What's going on? Welcome to the stream. I was just talking to people and mentioning stuff. I'm approaching kind of the end of Outward 1 here. I'm getting close to the end of Harmattan. I haven't played this game through its entirety before, so I'm still figuring things out. This is my first time playing through this area, but I think I'm pretty close. So I was just commenting about, hey, you know, if anybody who watches me wants to see something in particular regarding survival crafting type of games, let me know, because I like those types of games. Thank you, bots, for telling people that I'm live when I'm already live. I'm really surprised I haven't found the Enkindle enchantment naturally. I've found snow like 4 times, either through shops or through well, I found one in the overworld, but I think I found a couple in the overworld. I don't know. It's like at least 3 or 4 times now. Really weird that the counterpart to it, Enkindle, I can't find. Okay, what can I get rid of?
Well, what do you need?
Fire varnish, antique eel, don't need crystal powder, don't need that. What game is this? This is Outward. Outward is a it's made by a small studio. How best to describe it? So it is it's an RPG with some survival crafting elements. You go on an adventure, but you kind of have nothing to your name, so you have to figure out like how you're going to make it in this world. But you kind of are also thrown in the middle of like a crisis that's going on in the world, so you can choose like a faction to side with to get through that whole thing. There's crafting elements like I'm doing right now, where I'm making arrows because I have metal scrap and I have wood, so that makes arrows, and I'm playing as an archer predominantly, so I just made this really crazy looking vampiric bow. But yeah, you use crafting and stuff, and you have to actually, like, they have things like weather you have to worry about with freezing temperatures or being too hot. They have foods that you can craft and different things to cure you of different ailments. And it's a somewhat difficult game. There's a lot of things you have to learn, and you do get punished pretty hard if you lose. So if you know, are out and about and a boss enemy or a harder enemy ends up getting you, then you might die or something, and it'll give you like a scenario. You never really die, but it gives you a scenario. It's like, oh, you were found beaten and bloodied in the woods, and some guy, you know, set up a camp and nursed you back to health. You're not feeling too well, and you feel like you broke a few ribs, but you're alive. And when you come back, like it says that on a loading screen, when you come back, it'll be like you have like a quarter of your max HP and no stamina and aren't doing very well, but like, you know, you're at least alive. Sometimes you're thrown into a dungeon with enemies that are guarding you, and it'll say something like, you hear them go through your pack and they ate all your food or something like that. But, you know, you're alive. They left you for dead thinking you died and you didn't. Whatever. Is this Souls-like? That's hard to answer. It's not Souls-like. It kind of depends. So it's a very simple Souls-like, I suppose you could call it. If you want to call it a Souls-like, it's not very complex. The enemies don't have that many attack patterns, so it's not too hard. It does involve blocking and attacking, but you got like special skills that you need to use, so it's more... I don't really know how to describe it, but like there are special skills in the game that you need to learn for your character. So like if you're a melee person, you get this kick skill when you first start the game, and kick is essential for draining enemy stamina to break their poise, essentially, like you would do in a Souls game. But you can't break it naturally by, like, just... I mean, you kind of can by just hitting them, but the kick is, like, crucial, because if you land the kick, you break, like, half of their poise or something. So it's revolving around... There's a whole, like, skills page, which I have focused more into magic stuff. But there's, like, a whole skills page where you use these with your weapons and stuff. Daggers aren't a weapon type that you can just, you know, normally use. They're specifically meant to be offhanded and used with those skills. So, in some ways, it's kind of like a Souls game. In a lot of ways, though, it's not. So, I wouldn't exactly call it a Souls-like, but it's close. But it's, yeah, it's a pretty fun game. Very punishing is the big thing. And punishing for a lot of different things. So, like, when you travel, you have to have travel rations to actually make it from region to region. You can travel within the region just fine, but you'll need to worry about food and water as you're running around. You have to worry about temperature, you need to worry about sleep, you need to worry about diseases. If you do get a disease, you have to find something to cure it, and it cures very slowly. So I actually happen to have one. It's called Lay Wilt, and it is a reduced, basically effectiveness on mana. So, every single one of my spells that I cast is going to cost 40% more to actually cast. And it does say that that'll recede over time, but many of them don't. You actually have to drink a special tea or, you know, some sort of elixir that will restore it. And you can get things like indigestion if you eat food that's bad that you didn't cook properly or whatever. Like,
what do you need?
there's a lot of that type of stuff to it, in addition to it being a somewhat rudimentary Souls game. Kind of. So it's pretty fun. But don't expect it to be overly complex with like its combat encounters like a Souls-like is. Outward is very much a game where it's about the journey that you're going on. It's about traveling from region to region and prepping and preparing like everything that you need. So it's about engaging in encounters wisely and not just jumping into them, unless you're that type of character where you think you can just jump into them. But everything, there's like a weight system, which is why I have this big backpack on me.
What do you need?
Where you have to worry about that. And normally carrying a backpack makes you roll funny, but you can get skills to make it so you can roll normal. So sometimes in combat, you've got to like shed your backpack, and then you can fight and do your thing, and then when you're done, you pick it back up. There's a lot to this. Basically, you live out of your backpack. And so if you don't have an antidote, if you don't have, you know, a potion to heal you or whatever, or food to heal you over time, or a food to cure some sort of ailment that you end up getting, you're stuck with it until you get back to town, or you die, basically. And it's for that reason that a lot of people like it, is this whole like careful thinking and preparation that you have to do. Very, very fun. It also goes on sale for like $5, so even if you're like, I'm not sure, maybe I'd like it, you can get it on Steam for $5, the full definitive version of everything that will be include the DLCs, which I'm playing in one of them. There are some systems like enchanting, which are a little crazy. So like, this is all they tell you about enchanting. They're just like, oh yeah, you need these incenses, you need to place these pillars with whatever those mean, you need these equipments, and you need this condition. But they don't really tell you much more than that. So I've got one for my armor I was working on that it requires very specific things. I'm actually going to look it up on the wiki again. It's pretty obtuse with that type of stuff. And basically, that's all to say, expect it to be a little, I don't know, obtuse with its mechanics and stuff. So like, I'm gonna enchant this armor that I'm wearing that helps me with magic stuff. I'm gonna enchant it with giving me more speed and extra damage bonus of a specific element. And so in order to do that, I need to go to this crafting page. I'm specifically right now looking at like alchemy crafting. I need to make this incense, so I need this quartz, this tourmaline, elemental particle ether, and pale beauty incense. So to make pale beauty incense, I need 2 dreamer's root and elemental particle ether. And I should have all that because I've been playing for a long time. I have 7 of those, and I have the dreamer's root on me. So I go downstairs. I have an alchemy station. Come here, make the pale beauty incense, and then I need the quartz, the tourmaline, and the whatever the other thing was. I already forgot. Oh, the essence. I have 4 quartzes, so there's that, and then tourmaline. I have 6 of those. That's good. And then we're making this craft. Alright, and now with enchanting, you should look at the conditions of everything. I'm gonna face this altar of mine straight north. And then I need... I have it here. Where is it? Chaos and creativity. East close, east far, west close. Can I actually do east far? Probably. So then I need to have an enchanting pillar here. And another enchanting pillar a good ways away, like there. And then, what was the other one? West. West close. So, west. Here. And then in each one of these goes the essence I just made. No, I want the pillar. There we go. Hopefully that's far enough for that to work. And then I need to take my armor piece, put that in here, and hope it works. It says it's enchanting, so it seems to be working. Boom. Now my armor is enchanted with this chaos and creativity, which increases my movement speed and increases my damage bonus with decay, which is an element type, basically poison. Is this going to end up being a YouTube video? I found you off the Subnautica stuff and found your content quite interesting. This won't. I don't turn everything I stream into YouTube. In fact, I tend to keep the two separate. Just because I can usually get the YouTube stuff done way quicker that way. If I was streaming the Subnautica content on Twitch, since I stream 3 days a week, I don't think I would finish it. I only stream typically anywhere from like 3 to 6 hours. And some of these runs will take me 20, 30 hours. The most recent one that I did with the randomizer that required all the purple tablets, that took like over 30 hours to do. I'd only ever get that done, you know, one video a month, and then on top of that, a lot of the people who watch me stream came from YouTube as well, so if they watch me here, they're like, well, I watched you do the entire playthrough, so why would I watch the video? You know? So I try to keep the content separate. But everything I stream is also uploaded on YouTube as a VOD. So if you go to YouTube and you check the VOD section, there's like a live section on my YouTube channel, on every YouTube channel. You can see all my past streams. So if you're curious about Outward or whatever, I play Vintage Story, and I did stream a Vintage Story challenge that was unique to the stream, not the ones that I put on YouTube. I might have done a day or two with those, but there was one where it was a no map run. Now, the entire thing for that won't be there because that took me like 8 months, and I wasn't streaming to YouTube when I first started it. But I did finish that run on YouTube, so everything is there. So I try to mix it up so that people that come watch the stuff on Twitch get a unique experience, or if you watch the VODs, you get a unique experience, and then you can watch the YouTube videos for those things if you want. That way, the content isn't just kind of being reused and doubled down, because then people will just pick one, and nothing new will really happen. So I was gonna work on... In all fairness, I watched some of the VODs, some of the videos. Still enjoy the videos. Voiceovers add a lot of content, though, through storytelling. Yeah. I get it. I completely get it, because I'm the same way. I don't really like to watch VODs unless unless it's like background stuff where I'm not really paying attention, where like I'm working on something. Like I will watch another streamer's VOD while I'm working on my YouTube content a lot of times, because when you're playing Subnautica and you're farming for 90 purple tablets and that takes 30 hours, you're just hitting there and smashing rocks until they explode. So it's not the most entertaining thing, but I completely get not liking that type of content for sure. And I'm not against making outward content in terms of like YouTube videos and stuff for fun. But Outward, first of all, is a small game. Not a lot of people know about it, so there's not quite an audience for the game in that regard like Subnautica is. And then also, I am just beating it, sort of. Like, I have to beat this DLC, and then there's another DLC. And even then, Outward is meant to be replayed multiple times, because you get one side of the story when you play through it, and there's like 4 different sides of the story. So I've already done the main quest once, but there's 3 other paths that I could have done that have different missions or variations of the same mission, but then there's more lore and story and stuff. So I don't actually know this game that well. And I never really like to make YouTube content on stuff I don't really know. Like, I don't have to know I don't know how to do it I don't have to know how to do it in my entirety. So like for Vintage Story, for example, I have an Arctic challenge. That was the very first video I posted that did really well on YouTube. That one, I didn't really know what I was doing in the Arctic, but I did survive a few winters in Vintage Story. I played a few other worlds. Like, I had the basic concept of you need to do this, expect these types of temperatures, whatever. This is winter. This is how you survive it. Now, what if you had that all the time? You know, so I tend to do challenges before I know every angle of a game, but I like to go through it and be like, okay, I fought things with melee, I fought things with ranged, I fought things with magic, so now I can do a challenge on what if I played it but did this thing, you know? So there will be more content of different things. There might be Outward content, there might be whatever, but I also intend to stream it, so... And I like to keep the stream stuff separate from the YouTube stuff, like I said. Not too separate, but this was actually the reason why I'm playing this game and streaming it is because one of my viewers who was watching me play Vintage Story, and I was streaming that, really wanted me to play Outward. So like he suggested it and I was like, okay, let's give it a shot, why not? And so here I am. And so when you were joining, I was actually just talking about that, so we kind of come full circle. Now that I'm getting close to the end of this game, I'm kind of taking requests on what games to play from people to see what they're interested in me playing. I had always intended on playing Outward. I had it. It's a cheap game. Like I said, $5. So I had it, and it seemed fun at the time. But, you know, I'm always interested to hear what people want to see. I think I can actually do this. I just need to make this essence again. So let me grab everything I need. Oh, there is a Dreamer's Root here. Didn't see that. Okay. Grab 2 of these. Should only need the 1 quartz. Wherever that is. 1 of these. Okay. So what was this enchantment called? This is called Order and Discipline. I have this. Just don't remember what one is what. East close, east far, west close. So same thing, just slightly different name, okay? Pale Beauty Incense. Safina Incense. Looking for suggestions. Titanfall. I love Titanfall. Titanfall 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. Let's see. I haven't seen a whole lot of content on it for a while. Unfortunately, Titanfall is, well... Titanfall is the type of game that's hard to make content for because there hasn't been anything in Titanfall 2 since like 2019. Titanfall 1 has basically no community. Last time I saw there was like 100 on PC. And it's also the fact that they're not making more Titanfall games. So it's hard to make content on something like that. You know. I love Titanfall 2, though. It's also kind of a different game, though. So I think the games that you can actually make decent content for tend to be RPGs and other games that take a long time. Because my Titanfall content, if I were to make that, would, I guess, have to be a showcase of either skill in PvP or like doing the story of Titanfall 2 with challenges, but you kind of can't. Like, I could be like, I melee everything, but like I don't know if that would be that entertaining, you know. It's hard to do like a challenge content. So what I tend to do content wise is challenge content and like story based games. A lot of times for YouTube specifically, it's challenge content. So that's why we were doing Subnautica with a separate start with a randomizer, because simply starting Subnautica in a different location doesn't really do anything in terms of a challenge. And it's not even so much with the Subnautica stuff that it was a challenge to do. So the randomizer was difficult, but it was difficult for a different reason. It was difficult because it was a tediousness thing. It's a, how do I get these resources without dying or whatever. It was a hardcore run of that game. Let's see. Last one I'm looking for is speed and efficiency, I think. Sorry, I'm reading this, talking about a thing, and also trying to build craft in my head for a second here. Lightning damage bonus, I don't care about. Speed and efficiency is something I want, though, I think. This takes east close, east far, west close, same thing. Sylphina and incense, so I just have to make more of that. Okay, back to the game. And talking. Melee only master mode would be a difficult challenge, but I don't know how entertaining it would be. That's the thing, is as a content creator, I also have to try to think about what people want to watch. You know? I personally would get a kick out of just playing through a game. You know, just being like, oh, I'm playing whatever. I'm playing Titanfall. Come watch me. But like, people are gonna be like, so what? What about Titanfall? What are you doing? They want to see more than just I'm playing a game. So I kind of have to think about those types of things, and that's where survival crafting games are typically a little bit better. Because, you know, I'm not trying to be like, oh, you know, am world's best time on the, you know, the gauntlet for training. You know, I'm not trying to do that type of stuff. I just genuinely don't care enough about trying to get good on that level. So, like, that type of stuff isn't for me. Okay, this should make me faster and more resistant to things. Also, the boots give me a skill cooldown, which is great. It's not that much, but it's still good. So, like, that's kind of the trick, you know? So, I tend to play survival crafting games for a lot of that. Because there's a lot you can do. There's a lot you can do. The survival games tend to be assuming you use every resource they give you, but they never really lock you out of not using that resource. That's what makes them so fun. So if you play Subnautica, but you're like, Subnautica, but like, whatever, it's always nighttime. That's less of a like a game skill thing and more of a, like, Subnautica has that, like, whole horror aspect to it, and not being able to see is a huge thing. Many people, when they play, myself included, and I've played it a bunch, I still wait for, why didn't I do this right? I still wait for daytime when I go and explore Subnautica. It terrifies me. I don't like the ocean. Now there's big, giant creatures that want to eat me and will grab my ship and drag it into the abyss, like... Yeah, that stuff is terrifying. And I actually have a video where I played only nighttime and did random creature spawns so that I wouldn't be safe. Like, I couldn't just go, oh, there's nothing in this region. I can't guarantee that. Gauntlet boring. Yeah, Gauntlet is cool when you get to see people, like, really, you know, stretch their skills. But I'm not that good at that game. For me, when I play shooters, I'm always the anti-meta person. I am the what can I use that beats the meta. I absolutely hate when something is so overused in a game. Hi, Gracie. Can you not be on my mixer? You'll mute me or you'll do something. Say hi to our friend. Hello. Your body is wrapped up in the thing. Say hello to Terminally Unknown. This is Gracie. She sometimes makes an appearance in my videos. She definitely makes an appearance in my streams. I have some emotes on Twitch of her that are all free if you follow. There's one for subscribers that are animated, or two that are animated right now. But, yep. This is Gracie. She is a fluffy monstrosity. She's a menace. Say hi. Just redeem cat status. Well, cat status, she's right here. And she is ornery and wants to be on top of my PCs. Now she's over here. So the way those work, we have cat status, cat cam, and cat cat stardom. That's what it's called. Supposed to be redeeming points before I do all this, but sometimes she gets her own mind. So cat status is to check to see if she's like sleeping or something before you redeem the other ones, like cat cam or whatever. Because if her status is she's downstairs asleep, I can't take my camera downstairs, and I'm not gonna bring her up here. So I should change the values a little bit on cat status and all that, so that status is cheap. But once you know her status, once you know where she's at, if she's asleep, you can redeem cat cam. As long as I say, you know, that would work for cat cam or something, then I can take a break from the game and show you where she's at, and you can see her sleeping or whatever. Cat stardom is when she's like this, and she's all over me and wants attention. Or if she's just around and, you know, looks like she could be picked up and stuff, I'll grab her and bring her to the camera so that everybody can have some Gracie time. Sometimes you get stuff for free. Because she is a cat, and nobody makes the rules except for cats. I try to put her in a lot of my videos if I can, but it's hard. She's usually asleep if I'm recording something for YouTube, because I'm not paying attention to her. As soon as I get up out of my chair, she follows me everywhere. But yeah, we've got some fun little emotes. They're all Gracie oriented. So we have these 5 for followers. And then we have... These are all real photos of her, by the way. All I did was crop out whatever, but like... Or add something. So like the one where she's eating the submarine. All these are real things. I didn't realize there's an ad break. Okay, backing up just a second. So let's talk about ad breaks for a second. I don't notice when there's an ad break because I can't get Streamlabs to display everything. It's supposed to display YouTube chat and Twitch chat, but it doesn't. It's not doing that. It used to, but now it doesn't. So I use a different software that lets me see both, since I dual stream to YouTube and Twitch. But because of that, it doesn't tell me, since it's not a bot or anything, it's not actually in the chat, it doesn't tell me when there's going to be an ad break. So if I'm talking and I don't realize there's an ad break, my apologies. It's just how it works right now. I'm looking into things. Maybe I can get a bot to shout out ad breaks and stuff. But as I was trying to say, cat status is seeing where she's at, what she's doing. Cat cam is if she's nearby after cat status, I will try to show her and we'll, you know, see her on the camera. And then cat stardom is trying to bring her to the camera and have her interact with streamers and stuff like that. Give her treats, that type of stuff. Then if you're a follower, you get these 5 static emotes, and if you are a subscriber on Twitch, we have 2 animated emotes. Not that I'm trying to sell this or anything, just all of these are real photos of her that I manually have edited a little bit. So the one where she's munching on the sub, the sandwich there, she was actually wrestling me with my arm. So instead of my arm, I put a sandwich there. The one where it's just 2 legs, that's an actual photo of her, where the back half of her was on a box and the front half of her was down on the desk that I have here. So she actually looked like that for a second. The crown is not a photoshopped crown. She was actually wearing a costume with a crown. So all I did was crop out the background. And that's pretty much everything else. I mean, like, yeah. So yeah, feel free to use the emotes. Royal Gracie is one of my favorites. She was also not very happy in that photo. She does not like wearing her princess costume that she has. But yes, she will make an appearance, and that's also something that it's not stream exclusive. Like, I don't want to not put her on YouTube, but you're much more likely to see Gracie on Twitch than, or, you know, through the VODs than you will be through YouTube. So, anyway, before I keep talking, let me look up the thing I was looking up real quick. I need Monarch Incense, 4 of them, in a very hot condition. I think I can do that in one of the dungeons. This is hot weather, so I don't know if it has to be in the desert or it'll work in the dungeon. Monarch incense. Okay, what is that? Anyway, back to the game and to talking. So yeah, other games, let's see. Could try Lucid Blocks. What is Lucid Blocks? I don't know what that is. Interesting. It's got a cool, like, kind of art style to it. It's a little pixelated, but fun stuff. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I have seen or played a bit of this. Hang on. Open world survival sandbox with psychedelic and dreamlike worlds to explore. Some features include a unique crafting system, Apotheosis, that lets you fuse together any set of items without needing to look up recipes. Infinite world in all directions with new environments and structures, higher TP, more powerful items like grappling hooks, bee gliders, ball wands, scuba diving gear, explosives. Let's see. No multiplayer. Yes, mod support. Okay. Huh. I want to see like more images of this. This is genuinely interesting. How long is it? Let me pull it up on Steam. Store. Imagine Minecraft, but the devs were high. Lucid Blocks. It is $8 right now on sale, normally $10. I don't like the realistic hand. I mean, it's fine. I'm not upset by it or anything, but it's kind of weird. This reminds me graphically and sort of environmentally a lot of the game. Oh, what's it called? What is it called? I can't think of the name. I could probably find it in my library, but let me look at the store real quick. It's a very weird game for sure. This seems like a game that you could finish in a few hours. Most of the Steam reviews, people have less than 20 hours, and I'm assuming that's multiple playthroughs for some of this, because there's one that's like... A lot of them are like 2 to 10 hours. This person has 242 hours on this. $160 at review time. They say it feels the way I remember old Minecraft being odd, unknown, full of places to explore, things to discover. Discover most of the things though, I have yet to stumble across plenty of biomes. Weird. In 160 hours. Okay, well, I am gonna maybe wishlist that just to see what it's like. It's not expensive. And then Dead Space. Dead Space could be interesting. I don't have the remake of Dead Space. I've never played Dead Space, the original. I've played a bit of it, but I've never beaten it. So I would be interested in playing Dead Space, but I'd almost want to play the original, but that's kind of hard to play because it's just like old and doesn't run well on PC. Because it's from that era of PC gaming where they didn't care about PC gaming. It was like, it's there and it sort of works. It's up to you to make it run well. I've heard the remake is really good though, yes. So I would almost want to see if I could play Dead Space 1 reliably on like on stream, and then I might go back and play the remake afterwards. But I don't know, I struggle a lot of times with playing games like that though. Not Dead Space, but like I have a really hard time going back and replaying a game I just beat without adding a twist to it. So the remake would be awesome and I could play through it, but once you play Dead Space 1, if the remake is very, very similar, maybe not a one-to-one remake, but you know, pretty close, it'll be like, oh, it's this room with the jump scare that I already know. That looks cool, but like I know the story. It just did the thing, so you know, I don't know. I don't know if I could do back to back, though. In my head I would want to. Need to emulate Dead Space 1. You can play it on PC normally without emulating it. I have all the Dead Space games. I just don't think they run very well. I tried playing Dead Space 1, the original, and I didn't really experience too many bugs, but it is definitely an old game where, like, even streaming it on Discord to my friends or something, it doesn't like alt-tabbing, can randomly crash due to that type of stuff. You know, it's got its own fair share of bugs, so... But potentially Dead Space. That is a game I would kind of enjoy just playing just because it's Dead Space. It's a popular game and I've wanted to play it for a while. I think what's really going to be next though, probably, well, I already know one person wants me to play Ark, and I've played a ton of Ark, but I'm not good at it. Ark would take forever to do though. Especially if I intend on doing all the maps, all the bosses, all the story, whatever. It would take forever to do. I've already got like 1,000 hours in both Ark Survival Evolved and Ark Survival Ascended. So I know kind of what those games are about. I've done a lot of the boss battles, but not all of them. Hey, there's some Dreamer's Root. Good, I needed that. I tried getting the second one and it wouldn't launch. Interesting. I haven't heard too much about, like, the whole trilogy of Dead Space in terms of, like, stability like that. I've heard they're playable, they're just rough to play. Like, you might have to get some sort of thing that, like, an unofficial patch to make it playable on PC or whatever. Like, I don't know. I'd look into it. But yeah, I know that there's one person on YouTube who's commented a couple times who's wanted to watch me play Ark. So I should do Ark after Outward, though I will say he has hopped in like once in a while, like once every 2 months and just kind of hops in, is like, are you playing Ark yet? When are you gonna play Ark? And I say no, and then he hasn't come back in a while. He's hopped in here like 3 times over the course of the few months. So I don't know if I'm gonna take that recommendation, because A, it's really, really, really long. B, it's I don't know if there's a demand for it from my audience specifically, so. I could always try to play Ark and limit myself to just the island or something, and then stop after a while. I don't know. The other problem with Ark is that it's like 200 gigs, and a lot of my storage is occupied with footage from the YouTube videos and stuff, which I have like 2 terabytes of space for YouTube editing stuff. One video can take 500 gigs. So it's not a lot. I can only really store 3-ish videos if they're that big. Sometimes they're smaller. But I can't really store that many videos before I'm like, I have to delete the actual source files, and the recordings and everything. So installing a gigantic game like Ark would involve me having to uninstall probably a lot of the big games that I have. Like, I play Destiny 2. So I would imagine, like, I'd kind of have to uninstall that, which I'm not going to, because that's the game I play with my friends the most. But if Destiny 2 is not, like, if people are, like, kind of done with it, right now, it just got a final update. So, if my friends are, like, done playing it after a while, then maybe, but... yeah. Space is an issue with Ark, is really the thing. Bloody business? What was that? Oh. Fortress barracks, crumbling temple, windmill on a cliff, stone gazebo. Is that who died over here? Or is this just telling me that this is one of the locations? Oh, I remember why I'm doing this. Yeah. Okay, I remember this quest now. I was like, what? When did I get this quest? Who's it from? I remember. Yeah, I want to do this quest, actually. Bungie is finally letting it retire. Did you play a lot of Destiny, or you don't even have to play a lot, but are you like a fan of the game, or you just kind of play it with friends here and there over the years, or? Because I can go all out. I can talk about it. I played it since Destiny 1 launched, so not quite. It was like Christmas of that year, but I played it before the first expansion, so it's consumed my life since 2014, basically. 12 years. And by consume my life, I mean I play it with my friends, and it's probably the best social game because it's an MMO. Like, best social game for me, I should say. Fortress barracks. Crumbling temple, windmill on a cliff, stone gazebo. Crumbling temple. Ooh, there's a manor up here I haven't been to. I'm getting distracted. I want to do that quest, but I will try to do that. I gotta make my enchantment on my bow. And then I'll be done enchanting, and then I can go do all the quest stuff that I want to do. Played D1 in 200 hours on about 4 years ago. Stopped playing because of power scaling. Like, you didn't like leveling your character, or you just thought that the way the game was actually power scaling your character was too wild? I'm assuming the latter one, where like power scaling as like the power fantasy of Destiny and its change in balance. Because I can agree with you there, it has changed quite a bit, and I don't necessarily like where it has gone.
Greetings, friend.
I don't hate it. Like, I still play it, so I still like it, but I can agree. I miss Destiny 1's systems of how they dealt with things. Crap. Well, I guess we're doing this. Cool. Felt incredibly grindy for no improvement. Tried to play it again recently, kept killing things too quickly, it got boring. Yeah. Yeah, it's weird right now. That's the thing about Destiny 2, is it's very weird right now, the current state of the game balance. So they heavily leaned into abilities for the game, and that's fun. There's really nothing wrong with that. But the way they then countered that to make it so that you weren't just smashing through everything was by like health gating and like a bunch of other things like that just isn't that fun. Or like recently what they've done for balancing is they've thrown in enemies like these enemies called Banes. Banes are fun, but they can often just feel like sponges too. Damage sponges that soak up everything. There are certain Banes that are just like, oh yeah, like there's one that's like called Promoted or something, where it just gets more health and gets bigger and does more damage with the more damage it takes. And like, it's kind of annoying to deal with because it just becomes a bullet sponge. And then they throw in modifiers that are like, you don't get any ammo or whatever. You have to be really close to your allies at all times. You have to be moving at all times. They took a lot of those modifiers that they used to have randomly rolled into activities and let you start picking them. But then there are some activities that they're stuck that way, and it's just the balance is weird. The hard activities are like genuinely insanely difficult and meant like you have to build around the modifiers, where Destiny never used to be that way. It used to be any build can do it, it's just how good you are at playing your build. And now there's literally some content in the game. They have these ultimate conquests, which is the pinnacle of all difficult PvE activity. And the one that my friends and I were doing was a mission that takes like 30 minutes to do. You were timed, so if you didn't do it, it was over. They added a modifier so that you had to be close to enemies to damage them. Otherwise, if you're too far away, your damage was reduced by a lot, like 70%. With it gradually scaling up to that point, depending on how far outside the range you were. It was like within 10 meters. So you're basically a shotgun build or like fusion, a heavy melee oriented thing, but then they added a bunch of like, when enemies die, they leave a flaming pool on the ground, or this enemy can stomp you. Like, it's a very, very difficult mission for kind of the wrong reasons. So the current state of the game is a bit odd. But then, like, when it's not that, you do kind of just go through everything. A lot of bosses in the end game content can be 1 or 2 phased with the right team and the right builds. If you don't do that, they're still like 4 phased, 3 phased, which I find more enjoyable. But yeah, it's the Destiny community. There's always people that are going to min-max, and then Bungie tries to counter the min-maxing, and it gets really crazy. Some of the min-maxing was so wild where it got to the point where you were saving a loadout, and then you're swapping to a different loadout in the middle of an encounter, because that loadout was good for DPS, but the other loadout was good for survivability. It's like, that's just insane. I never want to play a game like that. I never want to loadout swap. That's not fun. Because you literally have to stop everything that you're doing in the game, pause, switch loadouts just so that you can do damage, and then you have to pause and switch again. Not good balance for the game, in my opinion. I tried redoing the New Light DLC, killed the Brig within 10 seconds with an ultimate. This is a new character. Yeah, the New Light experience is terrible. It's terrible. It is. Every single person that plays Destiny can attest to that. It was one of the things where Bungie sent out a feedback survey thing for all the players, and they were like, hey, what do you think matters most in Destiny? And this was before they announced the whole closing of everything. But one of the options was like the new player experience. It's like, you absolutely need to fix the new player experience in the game. It's so bad. It gets to a point where every person who loves Destiny tells their friends, oh, hey, Sleepy, sorry. I didn't see you going in there to talk about Destiny stuff. How's it going? You got 5 different notifications? It's just Twitch being Twitch. The first time I had an issue was Twitch died, but YouTube was fine. Then the second time was both of them died suddenly. I don't know. 5 notifications is crazy. But I did have it kind of die on me twice today so far. It seems to be doing fine now. It's been up for an hour with really no downtime. Sorry I didn't see your comment earlier. Ad break in 1 minute and 40 seconds, by the way. And I'm out of water, and I've been talking a lot. So on that ad break, I should go get water. But yeah, Destiny stuff, the new player experience is terrible in that game, but the game is one of the best games you'll ever play. It's so hard to really talk about it and get into it because all the old content, there's no scaling. They don't force you to go do the old content, so they put all the content at like minimum level, so a new player can go do anything they want. Great, but then every enemy is also a piece of cake to beat. The only way you make content difficult is by making it difficult yourself, or going and doing specific activities that are locked to being the most difficult in the game. But that's not how Destiny used to be. It used to be you're level 1, you have to grind up to level 20 before you can get to this campaign. Then from 20 to 40, you're doing that campaign and maybe a different campaign or whatever. And then level 50 was the max. So that was like when you started getting into really high end game stuff. They don't do that anymore. Monarch Incense, 4 pillars, and the enchanting table, and then a hot climate. I can do that. Should be able to anyway. I gotta find my enchanting stuff again. 4 pillars. Enchanting table. There we go. And anyway, so Bungie was sending out this survey asking people like what the biggest focus they should do is before they announced the shutdown. And I definitely put in new player experience. I had no fewer than 4 people. I'm trying to think on this. Let's see. There was coworker, another coworker, three coworkers, and a friend of a coworker, or a couple friends of a coworker. So adjacently, I think it was at least 4, maybe 5 people that all tried to get into Destiny 2. This was back in Lightfall. So this would have been 2 or 3 years ago. And they were like, yeah, the gameplay's fun, but like I don't care about the story or anything like that. And they never really got into it. They're like, I just want to do activities with you. I didn't care about the story. It was so bad or whatever. Like, they just completely wrote off, like, playing campaigns and doing certain activities to earn certain weapons. There was no progression for them. It was literally just hop in and play with all your friends. Now, a couple of them, that's just how they are. They're the type of people that play, like, Call of Duty, so they want to just, like, pick up a controller or, you know, keyboard and mouse and load into a match and start playing. Destiny is never going to be that game. Bungie tried to make it that game, and in doing so, they ruined the new player experience. But Destiny is an MMO. You have to grind in an MMO up to a point where you can then go do more activities. And your friends that are higher level than you are going to have access to those activities. The problem Destiny always faced, and the reason why Bungie went to this whole free-to-play and anybody can do anything at any time thing, is because their old content sucked. After a certain point, you leveled past whatever, you know, it had been a couple of years, their old content wasn't up to power anymore. It wasn't difficult. The gear wasn't good by the current sandbox's standards. It just got left behind. And it's insanely crazy that every year they'd put out a new raid and a new dungeon, and they would just leave it in the dust for the next year it came around. And the next year would be like, look at this cool new elemental ability. And then they'd make gear that fed into that new elemental ability. But the old dungeons didn't have that because it wasn't around then and they never updated it. It's like, you really shot yourselves in the foot. You have to make your old content good, and you have to make it a reason for veteran players to want to go back and do it, and a reason for new players to want to stay and do it. And the new players weren't staying because their friends didn't want to do the activities they were supposed to be doing. Just kind of a bad balance for an MMO. And unfortunately, they got shut down before they could fix all that. So the new player experience for that was just not great. Which is unfortunate because the gameplay wise, it's the most fun. It is probably the best. If you want to call it a shooter, it's not really a shooter, but the gunplay in Destiny is some of the best you'll ever play in your entire life. The abilities in the game have great animations, great sound effects. They do great things for your character. They're super fun. And the story is top tier. It's phenomenal. The soundtrack's amazing. Everything about Destiny's great. The problem is putting it all together. And they struggled really hard to do that. I hate how they kept axing some of the better DLCs, especially since they cost a decent amount. Really shouldn't have had a reset system. Yeah, the whole sunsetting and content vaulting thing. That was a huge debate. I was less upset about that, but that's because I played all of them, you know? I kind of do believe that an MMO should adapt its stuff over time. So if for Bungie, for whatever reason, they decided you need to, they needed to take the content out of the game, maybe it was because, you know, it was taking up too much space or whatever, because they did talk about why they started doing that. And really the thing was that old content was taking up a bunch of space that consoles couldn't support. and nobody was playing it. So in an effort to add new content that people wanted to play, but not screw over the console base, they did what they did and started vaulting content and getting rid of it. But then that left a whole FOMO system of you need to play it and whatever. And then there was a whole thing of, you know, sometimes purchasing it and it going away. It's like, well, what happened to the money I purchased? It never should have gotten to that point. The proper way to have handled Destiny's storage size and all that would have been to make the campaigns and certain activities installable separate DLCs, so that I could go to Steam or go to the Xbox store or whatever the heck and say, I want to play the Red War campaign, which was the first Destiny 2 campaign. I want to play that, so I'm going to install it. And they should have made the game subscription based, where you paid whatever, a fee, a monthly fee, to play the game. And you stop paying when you're done playing, and you start paying again when you're ready to play, and you pay, you get access to everything, and that's that. If they really wanted to make a free tier, they could leave it free the way it is, but then you give them whatever, $10 a month, $8 a month, and you get access to everything. And honestly, the thing about Destiny is, if you played it that way, if you thought of it as a subscription game, it was the cheapest MMO subscription you could ever have, unless there was a free MMO or whatever that you play. But in terms of like World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy 14, like these things, Destiny was $80 a year for everything, because there was usually a deal where it was $100 but you got 20% off, so $80. And you break that down, it's less than $8 a month. There's nothing out there in the world right now that's a subscription that is less than $8 a month. If they had just done the pricing differently, had a free and a paid tier gets everything, and that you could have separate installs for campaigns and stuff if you wanted to play them, and had a good new player experience dedicated to doing those campaigns, I think it would have been a lot better. You could have had the install size down, you know, but they just had no direction. That was really the problem. If they would have had the New Light experience be the Red War campaign, and you had to play it, you would have installed Destiny 2, and they would have said, hey, you know, you installed Destiny 2, and then every other expansion and everything else after that would have been a DLC that you install if you wanted to. But you would do the Red War campaign, and then they'd say, we recommend, once you beat it, you've beaten campaign number 1. We recommend you install campaign number 2. And go do this now. You don't have to, but, you know, whatever. And gray out the things that they can't actually go do, if that's what they're, you know, whatever. They just could have done it better. Okay. Looking at the enchantment I need in Kindle. North close, east far, south close. So north, east, south. Bow and hot weather. Okay. North. East. East again, probably right about here. And then south. But anyway, ranting about Destiny aside, I'm a little salty because it's one of my favorite games of all time, and the company behind making one of my favorite games of all time fumbled it so hard. Boom. Nice. All right, now things are going to be way different. We now have a bow that leeches life from enemies and inflicts fire damage. And after about 4 shots, will inflict a burning status, which will do burning damage over time. Actually amazing. I have to keep farming for enchanting materials, though, because I want to make another bow that'll be poison and fire instead of health leech and fire. But yeah, it's this should be a really, really good weapon now. I do... What's the total come out to be? I think I said 53 earlier. 48 plus 5 fire, so 53 damage per arrow, which is amazing because most bows are in the 30 to 40 range. So each arrow will do a good chunk of damage and elemental effects and health steal. And I've got magic to supplement this if I really want to. So yeah, we're doing really well for ourselves now. Back, I guess I should probably go back to my house. TTV Ashley. Not gonna lie, Outward looks like the kind of game where the world doesn't care if you're the main character. Pretty much. And welcome to the stream. Have I been enjoying the survival side of it, or is it mostly exploration that keeps me hooked? It's both. It really is both. The survival aspects of it are really nice because I like having to deal with the whole, like, hey, it's hot weather, it's cold weather, you gotta pack food to go on your long journeys, there's diseases. The disease system is really good. I really, really like the disease system, where it's a long-form illness for your character that will take a very long time to go away. And that's after you treat it. If you don't treat it, it doesn't go away. In fact, I think some of them get worse. Some diseases do recede over time, but most of them you actually have to cure with some sort of tonic or something. So I love the disease system. But the exploration is good too, because there's a lot of really hidden things. I do feel like they could do a little bit better with pointing out some things. Not like revealing the hidden secrets, but letting me know that I may have missed something. Because I feel like there are a lot of times when I'm playing the game that I'll be in a dungeon and I think I've beaten it, but there's no way to tell if I've beaten it, if I've done everything. I just leave, and then it's like, okay, and then, like, a lot of time my chat will be like, hey, you missed something, go back in there. The people who have played Outward and know it well. They'll be like, you missed something, you need to go back there and do that. I'm like, oh, okay. And it turns out it was like, oh, I didn't flip this lever down here, and back there was like a special magic sword. Like, oh, yeah, that would have been really, really cool to have. There was one weapon that was like behind a painting sitting on the floor, and I never would have found it because I never would have approached a painting. The painting was like on a what do they call those things? The stand that you usually paint on. I can't think of it. Easel? I think it was on a big easel, basically. It was done, but it was like on something like that, like propped up, not hanging on the wall. It was like behind the painting. I never would have guessed. I feel like the disease system would have me panicking every 5 minutes. It doesn't really, it's not too bad. Because there's foods, like the one that I just had was called Laywilt. I got rid of it just now, but it gave me a magic debuff so my magic it cost me more to cast my spells. It's hard to tell what's going to give you a disease sometimes, because certain enemies will just randomly afflict one to you, but a lot of times you can tell. Like, it'll actually say, if you don't cook this properly, you have a high chance of getting this disease. Like, they actually try to state it for you. So a lot of times it's avoidable. But there are some diseases where enemies scratch you or whatever, and you get like an infection, and infection makes your health regen slower and like reduce it by 25% or something. I don't actually know. I know that's one of them, but I don't know what that one is off the top of my head. I'm still fairly new to the game myself. Like, this is my first playthrough, and I've done quite a bit of it, but that's how little diseases come into play. They're cool when they happen, but they're not like something you constantly have to be keeping an eye out for. They're common enough to just be dangerous, to be like, I don't want to get hit by this enemy because he might give me something. But most of the time, you won't get it. Because even then, if they hit you, it's like a, whatever, 10% chance that you'll get it or something. Do I have a plan to make a Discord? I'd love to catch more streams, but I can't get Twitch notifications. I have a Discord. I don't have it linked here. I keep it private for just a few people. Mostly as a testing thing. I don't have any bots or moderators or anything set up for it. So it's been something where it hasn't really been requested, so I haven't really done any work on it. But as I get bigger, it's getting to be more popular where people want to see my Discord. It's still not extremely popular. I'd say of the people that watch me, there's probably a half dozen or so that would like to maybe be on a Discord. And they're my more regular viewers, so I've been considering it, but it usually doesn't come up. I guess anybody who actually ends up watching this, VOD or live or otherwise, let me know if you want to see a Discord, because I will make one. I have one. I was actually kind of waiting to make one too. Another reason for it is I think I'm going to change my like logo to be a little bit more official, but I actually need to probably hire an artist for that. But I also don't have a ton of money because this is my job and I'm not a big streamer or YouTuber. I'm growing, but by itself, this doesn't make me a ton of money right now. So, I was thinking about like, hey, if I get some money, rebrand a little bit, make a channel mascot, throw that in everything on YouTube, on Twitch, on the Discord and everything, add emotes, all that stuff, and do like a full rebrand of everything so people can, form a community and have a little fun. But I could also just make the Discord and go from there. Add things slowly over time. It takes time, keep it up. About streaming and stuff, yeah, it does. It takes a long time. My big thing is I'm primarily focused on YouTube. A lot of my time goes into my YouTube content because that is what is actually, so I guess lore for the background for who Night Wraith is and why he does this. I've worked, let's see, how many different jobs? 4 or 5 different jobs over the past over a decade. And for one reason or another, they have never been a fit. And it's not because I'm picky. It's because of how either the company would treat me or there being zero room for growth. So, for example, when I was in college, I had a part-time job. I paid through college, my full degree and everything. I don't have any college debt. But in doing that, I worked a part-time job. And I loved my boss. I didn't really care about the job too much, but whatever. The problem was, though, I had a serious conversation with my boss, and I was like, look, I need to be making more money. She was going to offer to pay me $40,000 a year. And I accepted at first, and I did it for a few months, but after about 6 months, I ended up switching from that job off of something else because I had a real talk with her. I was like, look, you have given me a shot at something like amazing. I went from being a part-time employee making $11 an hour to getting paid $20 an hour as a manager. I was like, this is amazing. I like deeply respect you and appreciate you for everything you've done, but I have to be making more than $40,000. That's not enough to survive off of, really. At that time, housing prices weren't as high as they are now, but it's ridiculous now. That's not enough money to live off of where I live in. And I said, I unfortunately have to try. I had another opportunity at another job, and it wasn't even related, completely different industry, but I had to hop off. And I'm like, look, they're telling me that an average employee there makes $50,000. It was slightly commission based, but they're like, an average performing employee gets $50,000 a year. I'm like, so even if I'm below average, I'll be making at least $40,000. Because I was getting paid, my base rate was, I think, $18 an hour. So slightly less than the 40 grand I was getting from the other person, but I knew because of my work ethic and because I care about the jobs that I do, that I would have done better. I would have made, 45 to 50 at least, and hopefully more with time. Went to that company, and they treated me like crap. I was in a training program for 3 months, with talks about being able to do the job remote. And when it came time to do the practical training, we were supposed to do that for about a month. It was like 2 weeks to a month, depending on like the circumstances of everything. We did the practical training for half a day. And then they were like, and you're out on your own. And we had so many questions that the moment I actually had to do the job and I was talking with a client, my first experience where we were actually in the practical training, I got screamed at by a client, for not knowing how to do my job. And that wasn't a me thing. That was just, we were just starting the practical training. So, like, I don't know what you expect from me, people. But I got screamed at by a client. And I'm usually okay, like, that doesn't bother me, but the problem is I can deal with somebody who's yelling at me if I know that I'm doing my job well. If I don't know how to do my job, and I'm getting yelled at, then I just feel like I'm failing in some way. And I know it wasn't my fault, but that wasn't a great feeling. Then they kicked us onto the floor, I got yelled at by multiple customers, I got my time wasted multiple times, and at the end of the day, what they started with in the practical training was that you could get assistance from like a mentor person. And so I would call in a mentor and I'd be like, hey, am I doing this right? The mentor helped me out, because through our like classroom training for this thing, I was taught how to do something. So I just asked the mentor, I'm like, am I doing this right? And they told me I was close, but not doing it quite right. So then, I did my job, whatever, came back the next day. And before we went and did our practical training with mentors or whatever the heck, where it's basically just the job and not like watching a person actually do the job, they brought up as an example my call to talk about in front of the class. And I was like, okay. I followed along. I got the answer that we got in the class, and I confronted them. I was like, look, I was told from the mentor yesterday that what I did was not correct and that I should have done it this way. And their answer to that wasn't, oh, yeah, no, they were actually wrong. You did it right the first time. I need that approval. I need that acknowledgement that I'm doing something right. That's not the answer I got. The answer I got was, well, nobody would have blamed you if you did it that way. That's not what I'm asking. I need to know how to do my job. Not being yelled at by my superiors is not something I'm worried about, because I know that I will do my job correctly, but I need to know how to do my job correctly. And then I was told by my superior that everything I was learning was just BS and that I would learn how to actually do the job once I made it through this practical training portion. And so I was like, okay, so you're wasting my time. That's what's happening. The company has rules that they have to follow. They're wasting my time. And you can't do anything to help me out directly until after I complete this training period, where there's already a schism between what the work actually is done by employees and the company's policy. Not a good place to work. So I was, again, in the middle of doing my job, not knowing what I was doing, and for the first time in my life, had a panic attack because I was, like, not sure what I was doing and afraid that I was going to get penalized for doing it wrong when nobody was going to give me a correct answer. So I freaked out a bit, and when that day was over, I quit after that. I called in the next morning, said I'm not going to be there, I'm quitting. And, you know, HR was like, well, can I understand why or something? Told them, you guys don't care about me as an employee. And the HR person was like, well, that's sad to hear. Bye. So, dodged a bullet with that company. I worked my butt off for them. I was commuting 2 hours every day to go do that job. I really was going to invest my time into that. And then I worked for a local software company where I was getting treated well, but they wouldn't increase my pay. They wouldn't do, like, the one thing that I asked to do after 3 years of working with them. And then it turns out, I'm still friends with the people that still work there. It turns out that the boss of the company sold it earlier this year, and they fired a lot of people that were in my seniority level anyway. So more than likely, I would have just been axed by the new company because they didn't want to pay somebody a proper wage. So that's when I gave up on that. I was like, look, screw you guys. I've worked now for, you know, that's 3 companies I've mentioned. You know, I've worked in this world for over a decade and seen no progress. There are no jobs that are willing to promote people up. There are no jobs that are willing to treat people like people. There are no jobs that actually care anymore about their employees. It's all about, at the end of the day, meeting a quota, a product, whatever. So, I didn't know what to do for a while. Was going to go back and get into, like, better certifications and stuff so I could hopefully land a better job. And I posted a YouTube video in January of this year on New Year's Day, and it exploded. It did really well. And that's where I got the idea that maybe content creation was the path for me. Working for myself. Not having to deal with a stupid company that doesn't care about me. And after seeing multiple successful things on YouTube videos and stuff, and having great feedback and people that seem to care and enjoy what I do, I've made the decision that I want to be a content creator. It's going to take time. It's going to be a very slow process, but I'm willing to do that because the job market also takes a long time, is also an extremely slow process, and there's no guarantees at the end of it. After investing several years of my life into 2 different jobs and finding out that they're dead ends for different reasons, what's the point? Might as well invest it into a career that has potential to grow and go from there. So that's what it was. Could make a Discord and ask the community to do logo comp. Hey, that's actually a great idea. I might actually look into getting the Discord up and ready then. Hey, Ashley, thanks for the follow. And cat status. I will give you cat status. Here is cat status. Well, I will give you another freebie. So cat status, the way these work, I've mentioned it before, but let me just mention it real quick again. Cat status is to figure out where Gracie, my cat, is and what she's doing. There's cat cam, which you can redeem, which will be having her on the camera, you know, moving the camera to wherever she's at. And then there's cat stardom, where I will try to pick her up, hold her, give her treats, you know, whatever, have her interact with the community, that type of stuff. But I'll do a free cat cam for you because she's literally right behind the webcam. She's a little snoozy. She's on top of my PC. There's a cable for my light up above that's in her way, but she is okay with it. Say hi, Gracie. Slow blink. She's very fluffy. She is 6 years old. I never mentioned that. She's on top of my PC. But, she is 6 years old. Just turned 6, about a month ago. So, she's a very good kitty. Also, ad break. I completely missed the ad break because I was talking. That's gonna happen from time to time. I need to get a bot set up to tell me when there's gonna be an ad break so that I don't do that anymore. So that's something I'm gonna work on today and tomorrow for sure. But ad break should be over in 3, 2, 1, 0. Cool. Everybody's back. So I was talking through an ad break, didn't realize it because I gotta get some stuff set up, but anyway, I'll do it again. Free cat cam, because there's Gracie. Move the cord out of the way. It's to my light up there, but there's Gracie. She is laying on top of my PC. She's very fluffy. She is a calico. She is 6 years old. Gracie, over here. Say hi. She's a little sleepy, I think, so she likes it up there because it's warm. Anyway, yeah, so that's kind of how I got into content creation and doing what I'm doing. Is I actually had success on a couple things, and the real job market isn't doing me any favors, which it's a little disheartening when I talk about it like that too, because I have friends who graduated college who got a job. Like, it might have taken a minute for them to get a job, but now they've been working at that same place for 5 or 7 years, something like that. And their jobs are great. They, you know, they get paid pretty well. Not like amazing. They're still underpaid for what they do. But they're able to afford a place on their own. They have pretty good benefits. They have a good vacation and company like policy for that type of stuff. I've just never had that. No matter what job I've worked, it's always been crap. And, you know, I could spend the next 5 years of my life applying for a job, getting a job, sitting there, then applying for a different job, and working my way up and doing the job hopping thing. But they never had to do that. So that's the weird thing. It's like, how the heck did a couple of my friends end up getting a job that, like, treated them well from kind of the beginning? And I have worked several jobs and had nothing. You know, it's a little disheartening when you think about it like that. I try not to think about it that way, but like, I got one friend who has the ability to take vacation time whenever he wants. His company doesn't officially have vacation days or anything like that. You just have to kind of schedule it in advance. Most of them end up taking about a month off in vacation time. If you include vacation as, you know, like also sick time and all that other stuff. Most of them take like a month off every year for time off. And that's just normal for them. They will actually ask him, they'll be like, why aren't you taking more vacation time? It's absurd to hear that. And he also gets paid a fair wage. You know, should probably be getting paid more than what he does, but he gets paid a fair wage. And I've never had a job like that. I've never had a company be like, why aren't you taking care of yourself better? Most of them have been like, oh, you want to take a vacation day? Well, I guess you're entitled to one, so yeah, we'll let you have it off. Just be back the next day. Some of the videos did insane numbers and some were criminally underviewed. The Subnautica stuff did really well. The one that I'm sort of the most ashamed of is the Return of the Ancients Blossom Challenge. That was supposed to be play through Return of the Ancients using only the Blossom. And people somewhat rightly scolded me for trying to do a challenge on a mod using both the Blossom Submarine and the Return of the Ancients, both of which I'd never used before, never played, and I wanted to play through them with a challenge. And they're like, well, why would you ever do that to yourself? You're whatever, blah, blah, blah. Not like, why are you doing this to yourself so much, but like, I ended up spending most of that video complaining about how the Blossom sucked. And they're like, well, of course it sucked, because you put in artificial challenges and they don't expect you to play the game that way. And it's like, okay, but the argument with it was mostly nothing else in the game does that. So why would this? Plus, the actual function of the Blossom Submarine wasn't good. And apologies to the mod creator if you end up hearing that and seeing that, but I just didn't like that. There's a whole video.
How can I help you?
I kind of spent that whole video just ranting about how I didn't like it. And unfortunately, I shouldn't have done that. I do feel kind of bad. I'm not because what I said was false, but because I'm just taking literally the entire video and complaining. And nobody wants to watch that. Although 50,000 people watched it. Then people were thinking that because I said it was a Return of the Ancients challenge, that I was going to review Return of the Ancients, because a lot of them came from my Red Plague video where I did a review of Red Plague. And it was never supposed to be a review of that. It was always supposed to be playing through it. But, you know, there was kind of like a weird misconception with that, so... I thought it was an okay video, but if you saw the video, you probably read the comments, you can see what everybody was complaining about. And I somewhat agree with the criticisms of it, of like, look, I shouldn't have spent the whole time complaining. I didn't even finish Return of the Ancients at that point. Because I was going to. I started out the thing with, I was going to. But... it just wasn't fun. So I gave it a different ending. I gave it basically the failure ending of, I don't care to play this anymore. This submarine is not good, so I'm not doing it. And people didn't like that I didn't complete it. A lot of creators glaze over mods without talking about downsides. You're the first one to critique the mod. I don't want to be like a review channel where I, you know, critique everything, but I do feel like I want to give honest feedback about something when I use it. Like this game, for example, Outward. Great game. Amazing game. But it's made by a small studio. It feels like it's made by a small studio. And there are a lot of times when I find something, I'm like, this just isn't fair to the player. Is there a bit of get good and, you know, skill issue? Sure. But there are actually certain things that just don't feel good as a player to experience. And I hope that my feedback in some way will reach back to a developer, but not enough to be like, I played your game, you know, one time, so I know everything about it. I don't want that. What I want is, as a new player, this is how I felt about the game. And it's really hard to get a community to understand that and to appreciate that. Because a lot of people, a lot of community people, a lot of people who play a game kind of subconsciously start feeling like they're an expert on the game because they've played it a bunch. And they forget what it's like to be a new player. Which is something that I try never to do. I always try to think of a perspective of a new player when I'm playing a game, even if I've beaten it a million times. And try to give a fair criticism of it. And my thing with the Blossom, that's not a game, but it's a mod. That mod very, very clearly intends for that submarine to just be in the game with all the other submarines. So you're just going to play the game, you have the Seamoth and the Cyclops and the Prawn Suit. You play the game, you can go get the parts for the Blossom submarine with those vehicles, and then you have a fourth vehicle. That vehicle should stand on its own 2 feet, and it doesn't. It doesn't offer anything to the game, really, that's that amazing. It has the mesmerize ability, which is cool, and it can capture fish that way, which is cool, but it's incredibly slow. It can mesmerize Leviathans, but how do you escape after that? You don't. They attack you. There's no way to get out of a Leviathan attacking you. Because they don't de-aggro. There is nothing set for that. It's a very slow submarine, and its depth components are really weird. To get a depth upgrade, you have to explore waters that are deeper than what you can go in that vehicle. That's not true for the other vehicles. The only one where that's kind of the case is the Cyclops, because the Cyclops goes down to... The Cyclops goes down to... No, it's the Prawn Suit. Well, actually, it's kind of both. They're meant to be used in conjunction with each other, but... they go down to a certain depth level, where then they start taking crush damage. But, like, those are really meant to be used together. You can dock the Prawn Suit in the Cyclops. I don't really fault them for having that, because where one has a flaw, the other one kind of fixes that. So... Cyclops base depth is 500 meters. Prawn Suit base depth is 900 meters. You can get the components you need for the Cyclops with the Prawn Suit, fine. You can't dock the Prawn Suit in the Blossom. The Blossom can't be docked in the Cyclops. You literally just have to not use the vehicle or anything associated with the vehicle to get the upgrades for it. And I think that's a bad design, you know? So I tried to talk about that. I tried to say, like, this is what I didn't like about it. I also have been talking that I've completely just stopped playing the game, so I'm sorry about that, but I just kind of... I had to give my feedback on it, because I just don't think they really considered anything other than playing the game and, like, having the knowledge of the game to get the stuff for it. A new player who plays that, if they were to install Subnautica and install the Blossom on top of it, it would definitely feel like it wasn't intended to be there, which a mod should never do. A mod should always feel like it fits well into the game, where it's almost undiscernible that it's in the game. It just adds something to it that it flows so perfectly with it. So yeah, the that was kind of my criticisms. And I try to give fair feedback. Sorry, I gotta check something real quick. I just realized this is a day that my friends and I would normally get together. None of us have talked about it, so I don't think any of them are planning on showing up, because if they were, they'd be here. Yeah, literally nothing. Okay, so nobody's here. It's fine. So I can keep streaming for a while. But yeah, like, I had kind of the same criticism for Outward. This game is an amazing game. There is Okay, I gotta get kind of across from this thing, so I gotta go up, down, past the beach. That'll be on my right. I think I gotta cross the bridge. Okay, cool. Outward kind of has the same problem. The base game of this game feels really good, but then they add certain components from the DLC, like enchanting. Enchanting stuff was added in these DLCs, this one and the other one. Specifically, I think it was this one that added it. And they then just kind of went back into the base game and just kind of randomly threw enchantment stuff in there. But a lot of the components that you need to enchant are found in this region specifically. So you can kind of enchant in the base game, but you'll never find the components in, like, all the components you need without coming to this DLC. Which begs the question of why they did it that way. Why would you throw enchanting into the base game, but not really allow me to use it to its full extent in the base game, to kind of lock some of it behind having to go to the DLC to do it? At that point, just lock it behind the DLC or properly integrate it into the base game. Fair criticism. Feedback that I hope they take to account for if they ever make any more DLCs, because Outward 2 is set to come out soon-ish. They just delayed it, but they were in early access or like a beta test recently. And they acknowledged that the beta test wasn't... They weren't satisfied with the progress of Outward 2 with the promises they made to the community of what it would be when it entered early access. They weren't satisfied, so they delayed it. Good call. But as a small studio, I think they're struggling a bit to make a game that they then go back and make sure everything's balanced. It's hard. It's hard to do that. I'm not a game dev. I'm not going to criticize them for it. I'm going to try to give feedback and say, look, it feels weird to have a feature that you've thrown into the base game, but it's done half-assed. Like, don't do that. Either it's integrated well, or it's not at all. Okay, well... Yeah, okay, there are 3 of these guys. I was not intending on having all that. I really need to get rid of one of them. They're very fast. I didn't know there were 3 of them. I thought there was the, like, 2 that I saw originally. Let's try a stronger shot on him. Yeah, try dodging that one. Dare ya. Oh, come on, you have like 1 HP. Man, this whole health thing that they got going on, this magic, is really annoying. Also, there are 3 of them that can do it, and they can just spam it. It's this type of stuff for the balance of the game. What the heck, man? Like, how are they able to spam that? It's like a healing magic, but like it's supposed to be blood magic, so there should be some sort of detriment to being able to heal that fast, and it kind of feels like there's not. So this is where I have to cheese some stuff and be like, let me fight unfairness with unfairness. So we're gonna go here, and we're gonna give... He's not gonna see this one coming. Like, it drains a little bit of his health to get a regen speed that is wildly strong. There, that's 1. Like, he loses, like, 10 HP, but then restores 5 HP a second or something. Like, it's wild how good that is. Um, but yeah, so like, oh god, I missed. Okay, that's fine. I can wait. The armor set I have adds a 5% cooldown time, so I'll be fine. I do keep forgetting to eat my magic food, though. I just kind of got into magic not long ago, and so with this game, you're supposed to eat, like, certain foods and stuff. And I just keep forgetting to do that. So... come here, dude. There. He tried to heal himself. We'll see if we can get this guy to come with us. Yeah, he's gonna dodge that arrow, that's fine. See, when fighting just one, where I can kind of guarantee that I'm gonna hit him, not bad. Fighting 3 of them that are dodging and all this other stuff, it's kind of difficult. Seems a little unbalanced. Yeah, it's that type of stuff where it's like, my feedback from this would be, don't put 3 enemies that have a regen speed faster than I can shoot a bow. Like, they either need to lose like half their health or only be able to cast the spell once or not regen that fast. There just needs to be a slight tweak to that. All things combined, kind of too strong. I was supposed to be looking for a specific guy up here. Stabilizing forces already have that one. I'll check my journal real quick. Okay, I need Crumbling Temple and Stone Gazebo. Crumbling Temple. I think I know where that might be. Is it ranged only, or is there melee? In terms of this game, there's definitely melee. So, like, there is an entire melee component. I'm sort of doing a challenge of this game where I'm using basically just the bow. So I'm making, like, a bow build. So I will pretty much force myself to only use the bow in combat. Except for traps. I'm allowed to use traps. So I have pressure plate traps that I can place down to give myself an advantage, and I have a magic trap that I can do as well. I can use magic to buff my character in terms of like protection or healing, whatever, but I'm not going to do direct damage with magic, but I can do that to like buff my build some more. But that's pretty much it. Other than that, I'm intending on using just the bow. But there are tons of weapons you can use. I don't have any on me, but you can use anything like this fishing harpoon. Technically, this is the most basic spear in the game. Combat is pretty rudimentary, but, you know, there are things you can do to try to spice up the moveset or whatever. Really what it comes down to is the, like the enchantments and stuff that you can put on your weapons. And the crafting of better weapons. That's what's really cool about this game, is the way that you make these things. So like this bow required enchanting to make, but there are bows, like, I'll show you a crafting recipe for one. Actually, it's just this page. But you can see there's armor sets, so like taking the basic armor and adding this and this gives you this special heavier armor set. There's these like claymores and swords that will do extra elemental damages and stuff. This one's made out of like monster parts, So there are these machine dog things walking around. They're called beast golems. If you have an axe, just an iron axe with scraps and some other stuff, boom, beast golem axe. So I don't know if you've ever played it, but think about like how Tears of the Kingdom kind of did things, the Zelda game. It's kind of like that in some respects. Because it's combining monster parts with a base weapon to make something a little bit better. So it's kind of like that. Not entirely, but it's sort of like that. So for me, one of the bows I used for a long time is called the horror bow, because it's made from an enemy called a horror. So this takes Horror Chitin, a monster part, Occult Remains, which is kind of a monster part, also can be loot in certain dungeons, and then a War Bow, which you purchase. And you do all that, and you get this bow that does 40 damage and inflicts poison on enemies. So that's how you make the best gear in this game, is crafting it. The armor I'm wearing right now is made from, like magic stones. They're called Hackmanite. It's like a... I don't know if Hackmanite's a real rock, because there's emeralds, rubies, opals, all that other stuff in this game too. It's a rock I've never heard of, but there is basically this magic stone that you find from mining mana stones. You have a rare chance of getting this gem called Hackmanite. And then you can make this armor set with that Hackmanite by going to a smith and paying him. And you have to have the material, obviously. So that's how you make some of the best gear in the game, is by interacting with those mechanics, which is where the crafting stuff is really cool in this game. I've been through this. I'm gonna look up the locations of these guys, because I don't want to guess. Crumbling Temple and Stone Gazebo. I just want to know exactly where they are. Outward Blood Mage Quest. Yes, Bloody Business, that's what it's called. Okay, so just south of me is one, and then up in the plaza. That's what I was thinking, but I wanted to double check. Down here is the Cabal of Winds Temple. I haven't been there yet, so... I have a ping from somebody about something. About Destiny stuff from my friends last night. But yeah, so some of the enemy types in this game are really cool too. This game has Wendigos as an enemy, which they're actually really creepy looking. It's a great model. I don't think this region really has that many of them. They're kind of rare. There's like a handful of them in the game. But like that's cool. So there are certain creatures and stuff in this game. I think I just took this earlier today. There are certain like monsters and creatures that this game is really good at making too. Movesets can be a little basic, but the fact that that is a monster that exists is like really cool, because not a lot of games have creatures like that, other than like The Witcher. Wendigo probably as in more the traditional version. I'm not really sure what the modern version is like, but this is very animalistic. This is it crawls around on the ground. It has like a antler skull thing. It is like made through dark magic and stuff like that, so I don't really know for lack of a better term, mythology on that stuff. I don't want to insult anybody's cultures, but I think a lot of people would consider that stuff to not be real and for it to be considered mythology. Though some cultures really, really, really believe in that type of stuff. And if you do, you do. I don't blame that. I don't blame anyone for believing that. As a a white American who is a descendant of European colonists, I really can't make a claim on what's real and what's not for the indigenous peoples of America that got wronged by my ancestors. I'm not even gonna go and make any judgments or calls on that front. So I don't know anything about Until Dawn, so maybe that's the more modern version. I don't know. Let's look up Until Dawn and see what we can look at for the Wendigo there. More like a skinny human thing. Because that is supposed to be what I know of the mythology. Is it's supposed to be basically a human character or not character, a human who either used dark magic to give themselves eternal life in exchange for having unending hunger and therefore a forever like anorexic body, slash one who indulged in cannibalism either willingly and like because they wanted to, or I've even heard tales of it being even if you don't want to, but it was just for survival. This simple act of cannibalism would turn you into one of those. So I don't know which is which, but like that fits a lot more the traditional sound of it. But this the like weird deer antler component, I don't know where that comes from. If that was just something creepy to put in whatever, like in media for movies and stuff, or what. Okay. Let me take a small break. I need more water. I'm losing my voice because I've been talking so much. Ugh. Okay, let's fix this. Okay. Ugh. I got more water, so hopefully that will help me not lose my voice. I've been talking a lot. I love talking though. So I don't mind having a very talkative stream. Where am I? I need to be going basically, okay, that's the clock, so I need to go northwest. I need to go this way. In fact, I'm just gonna go right past these sword golems. Huh. So let's see. Oh yeah, we were talking about Wendigos. I was like, what were we talking about? Unknown. Do you happen to know, like, anything about that, like, that mythology about Wendigos and stuff like that? I don't. I genuinely don't. The only thing I know of it is various small forms of media that have included it. So, for example, the show Supernatural, their pilot episode had it. They never really showed it. They talked about it, and I think a lot of that show is, at least the early seasons, are based in real, like, tried to be accurate, like, story and mythology, but I'm not gonna say, oh, a TV show was accurate. I haven't looked it up. I haven't studied it. I don't research it. I don't know it. But curious to know if you, or I guess anybody else who's here, if anybody's here, would happen to know. Because I sure as heck don't. Okay, here is the last spot. There he is. Vebers, if you're gonna, like, attack me, please, like, do so. Come up here and fight. That's one of the dogs taken care of. Dodge this. Oh, he's got a spear. Hello, spear. Cool. Quest log has been updated. He had some arrows. He had a bunch of stuff I want, actually. Okay, I need to go way south. Like, all the way south. Probably the best thing to do would just be to book it there. Trying to, like, find a fast travel spot just wouldn't work. Okay, so we're just gonna go. We gotta get out of the plaza area, and we just gotta hoof it straight south from here, kinda. We gotta get back on the main road, though. I don't have a stamina restoring food, do I? Not really. This is where Levant shines. All their stuff is about being fast. Thirsty. Not anymore. Drink 100%. Good. Book it, book it, book it. Run, run, run as you run. Run, 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 run. Stupid meme. If anybody, I didn't say that very loud, but there's a meme of Lord Farquaad with Gingy's legs from Shrek, where he's got him on the table and he's like interrogating him, and he's like, he's got his legs and he says, run, run, run as fast as you can and never catch me, I'm the gingerbread man, and he's like taunting him with his own legs. Somebody did a cut with the audio where he just says, run, run, run as you run, 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 and it's so dumb, but like that type of stupid stuff really makes me laugh. So when I'm running from like a long ways away doing a destination of some kind like this, I just think of that because I saw it like, I don't know, 3 weeks ago or something, maybe a month ago. It just never leaves my head now. It's permanently tainted. Goodbye, blood dog. Elemental, don't care right now. Gotta get inside the base. Okay, blood mage hideout. At least I'm sure hoping, because the guy literally said go get rid of his apprentices and then return. So if there's a different step that I missed. Whoa, 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 whoa. Kill him at Crumbling Temple. I did. What do you mean? I did. Hold up. You mean to tell me I gotta go back now? I think Crumbling Temple is the only one I haven't been to in a while, so do they respawn and so I had to do it? No, Crumbling Temple is Cabal of Wind's temple. I did that. Fortress Barracks is north of Compromised Mana Transfer Station. Abandoned Fortress marker, 2 beasts, and a mage. I did the Cabal of Wind Temples one. God, that's so far away, too. No. What do you mean, no? I didn't get that. I'm trying to eat food. Leave me alone. Wait a minute. He's back? Did I just not kill this guy? He's an archer. I didn't kill him. Wasn't there a different guy? Stop dodging. Point blank range. Stop dodging. Okay, got the thing. Are we sure, game? Return to the ancient blood mage. Yeah, God. Okay, we're finally back. God, that was a detour I was not expecting. Oh man, okay, we're finally back at the fortress. Well, let's get down here. We gotta take out the guys because we gotta talk to the disembodied guy. I gotta take out his minions. Can I hit this? Yes, I can. None of that. There will be none of that. And go ahead and command your blood dog at me. He's not moving too well. Okay. Yep, we take that, and that, and that, and that, and this. Where the heck's my food? Right there. Arrow. Alright, dude, I've taken care of your minions. Curse Hex, Possessed, and Enchanting Thirst. Okay, what's that all do? We need this. So, Aunt Hex, Curse Hex. Inflicts Curse on touch. What does Curse do? Curse. Actually really good for my other bow. Minus 25% decay damage, minus 25% decay resistance. Easier to make poison. Possessed. Possessed boon increases decay damage and decay resistance, and then possessed is nice to have in general. Nice. Honestly, good find, good quest, good everything. I already got Thirst. I don't know from what, the ornate chest behind him, maybe? Cloth Knuckles, already known. Well, gee, that's like the most basic thing. I think you already know that in the beginning of the game. I don't know. Bag overweight. From what? Too much iron scrap on me? No. It's gotta be food. I got a ton of food. Well, we may as well just wait here and sleep. I mean, like... I should get my stuff back. No ambush? Nice. It's a safe zone! Wait, this is considered a safe zone? Nice. Ugh. I am thirsty. Good thing I have everything I could ever want for that. I've got food, I've got water, I've got just so much stuff. I can even give myself some of these boons, because I know it's cold outside, so let's give myself a warm boon. And... where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Possessed. Might as well. Look at all the glowing lights I have flying around me. Now we can go inside one of the dungeons, and I think I'm gonna try to beat the DLC tonight. Though I might want more arrows before I do that, but That'll be a thing for me to solve in a minute. I gotta get through this area first. Okay. Okay, so we need to get to the bottom of here so that we can take the train to the final location. Oh, right, this was the whole twisted maze of branches and stuff. Okay. Yeah, okay. I am on the right side. I need to go this way. Then we take the elevator. And then we take this elevator. And then we need research laboratory. The forgotten research laboratory. All right. So we got the 4 keys that we need. Didn't want this bow. Don't think I want that either. But it's food that's weighing the most. So how about we just eat some more food? Key. 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 Nice. Okay. Is there really no dungeon to explore yet? Flip lever. As the final key is inserted, the way forward opens ominously and the booming voice echoes through the halls even louder than usual. Hope you're pleased with yourself, trespasser. Your actions have allowed the Scourge to break into my inner sanctum. They threaten the very safety of the city that you think you're saving. I will stop you, I will kill these Scourge, and I will have my vengeance. I can make as many golems as I want now. Nothing that breathes will escape this place. What gives you the gall to oppose my righteous fury? Because I enjoy a challenge. Why do you think I adventure for a living? Just for the inevitable reward. You have a death wish. Wish to oppose me. I am the Forge Master, the Rust Lich. You stand no chance against my immortal power. Flee while I still allow it. Well, frickin' $1 says that this stupid boss fight is gonna have an impassable like barrier thing before you can get in there, and I'm not gonna be able to place my traps down the way I want. Hello, everything. What if I just didn't? Ah, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Book. These sublime shells, as we call them, they are far closer to the jungle apes that the shell horror species seems to be corrupted from, even smarter. Extremely limited speech. Illuminators, they puzzle us all. They appear to be like mobile plants with a head and mouth. Oh my god, hi. Enough of you. Ow. Stay on fire. I'm getting tainted. Okay. I'm getting tainted. Maybe right before the boss battle. It won't matter. I'll drink the thing. Grotesque. That's what I want to read about. Grotesque. They are similar to Immaculates, but they lack intelligence of any kind. A new closer plant-like and hew closer to the plant-like Illuminators. They failed Immaculates, so the Immaculate superior version of Grotesque. No head or mouth to speak of, but their feet, that shape like human hands, and pure Illuminators make no sensible biology, appear to be strange amalgams. So they were studying the corruption, plague creatures, the scourge creatures. That's what those are called. Yeah, scourge beasts. Well, Monsieur Grotesque, come up here. How about a sniper shot? Okay. Okay. So they were studying the scourge creatures, and oh, something happened. Lower laboratory key is required. Lower lab? I went up a lot of stairs from the main entrance, I guess. Maybe. Oh, hi. Yeah, okay. I see. Maybe not so much. Oh my god. You terrify me with your big laser beam. Gonna have to try a little bit harder. There you go, that's one of them. Come here, dude. Oh, ah. That was fast. You know what? No, you're fine. There we go. See, we're fine. And he's got the key, so everything's good. Bag overweight. You don't say. Let's see. I don't need all these life potions that I have. Okay, well, I can roll with all my stuff now. Grotesque is kind of kicking his butt. Maybe we let them fight, because I don't want to fight them. They seem to be fighting each other naturally. It's like storytelling stuff. So do it. Fight each other. Are arcane elementals also scourge beasts? Okay, no more corruption up here. Dang, finally. And no purifying potion, unfortunately. I have one in my inventory. Why are you here? Misplaced lab lever. Well, let's get some traps down, because there's obviously more guys. Oh, hello, beast golem. Yeah, eat that. Okay, we win that one. Oh, that was beautiful. Oh, I gotta place things in a triangle formation a lot more. That was beautiful. Easiest golem fights. Is there another one? It's all heavy stuff. Yeah. How about we eat... I'm still good on that front. I just don't need, like, this many of them. How about 5 we drop? I don't know where I'm getting them all. It has to be loot things. Ooh. It's so dark. Who are you? Boom. Do it again. Boom. Okay. Yeah, okay. Get out of here. This is the only reason why pressure plates suck, is because it's just so, like, slow. One at a time. Pumpkin pie. I want that. Eat. Beast Golem. Do I have to? I don't really want to fight you. Why am I rolling? I don't want to roll. Stop rolling. Of course. Stop. Okay. Did we get him? Are we good? Can I drop? Yeah, mana stones I'm getting rid of. I have a bunch. £6 of wheat. There. Ooh, hello. Where are you? They're getting closer. One hit that. So if I hide back here, maybe... This one's probably calling for a sniper shot. Just burn. Thank you. That thing doesn't move ever, so this is gonna be magic. I don't need the mana stones. Stop picking up the mana stones, me. I can make more flame stones, sure, but I just don't have the bag space for them. Also, lost my mana regen, so we'll eat one of these. Hey, Bradley, what's going on? Don't hit me. Oh, yeah, don't be right next to him. Got it. Be a little bit away from him. Easy rune magic. You gonna do the thing again? You're gonna send one of those at me. Okay, well. I will respond in a second. Let me get out of this thing. Let me get this guy gone. One hit. Oh, maybe not one hit. 2 hits, I guess. There we go. Okay. Doing pretty good. How am I doing? So yeah, I'm doing pretty good. This game, if you don't know anything about it, it's called Outward, hence the stream information about it. It looks horror vibe-ish, kinda. It's an adventure with really strong survival aspects. So you gotta worry about like foods and stuff like that. It's very punishing, so if you like are out exploring and you don't have a cure for something, you're probably going to die. Sometimes it can be a disease. Diseases don't kill you necessarily. Some might, but they don't usually. They usually give you a debuff. But to cure the disease, it takes like several days after applying the cure. I'm actually about to go do a boss fight, I think. This is my first time actually playing through and I think beating this DLC. So it's a pretty fun game. You gotta worry about food, you gotta worry about sleep, you gotta worry about whatever. So you basically live out of your backpack in this game the entire time. And once you once you feel like you've established yourself well enough to go on a journey, you go on a journey, and eventually you want to make it back to a city where you have a house where you can store all your stuff and whatever. Pretty fun game, but pretty punishing. Very, very fun. We got a boss fight. He called himself the Rust Lich, so I guess we're gonna fight a Lich again. There's multiple Liches in this game. In the name of the old lords, I, Lord Duvernay. I didn't know that was his name. You can't order me around, I'm coming for you. Sounds like I'm getting near the source of the trouble. Time to end this. Please reconsider already. We don't have to kill each other. I'm not that nice. Sounds like you're getting near the source of trouble. Time to end this. Cannot understand my suffering, the injustice that I suffered. I was a noble once. Powerful and storied house. Not once in history of Harmattan did we lose our place in the ruling council. Even during the Scourge, I stayed to guide our people. Then the Academy ripped my very heart from my chest, poured liquid metal in its place, and chanted profane spells upon me. My soul was ripped from me and imprisoned in a device of gears and springs. They made me their prisoner. They turned me into this monstrous creature, a lich against my will. Oh, interesting. They used me, treated me like a tool, and saw to it that my entire legacy would be erased from history. I will send wave after wave of golems to the city, bring Sorbor to its knees, and then I will take my rightful place as Lord of the city and hero who fought the Scourge. Turn back now or die. I'm an immortal lich, far beyond anything a human is capable of. You stand no chance of victory. Flee if you value your fragile life. See, I've already fought a gold lich, a poison lich, and I've met a blood lich. So, what's one more lich? Is this my main game, or do I play a bunch of games? Also notice that your About Me section's too empty. Aha. I see. Well, good day to you. There we go. I don't know how I managed to mess up the settings, but, you know, I wouldn't have had to do that. I love when a chatter comes in, tries to tell me how to do things. Definitely a bot. Goodbye, bots. Let's see. I fought a lich already. You don't scare me. Someone needs to put you in your place. I'm going to stop you. There's no point in talking anymore, is there? 100 years to plan my vengeance. Yeah, okay. But I have fought a lich before. Well, we better buff up, because this game will probably punish me if I don't. Let's give ourselves a boon or two. I don't have any foods that give discipline. What else can I have? We can do elemental resistance. We can do... I already have the possessed boon. We can do health regen. That'll be nice. And we can do anything else? No. I think we're good. Command room. Is this your thing? Okay, sure. Wait, did that really take that one out? Wow. You gotta summon some stuff, I'm assuming. And they're back. Okay, cool. Well, let's ignore this. Probably should have turned on lightning, but didn't know it was lightning stuff that I was gonna have to deal with. How weak is this? Okay, like pretty weak. About 3 arrows on one of these. Okay, so it seems like you kind of have to shoot him during this. And then he puts his shield back up after he teleports. Alright, so I kind of got the mechanics now, so now we just need to actually do a thing like this. Took out 2 of them. That was kind of nice. I basically just have to make sure that my sniper shot is up, because that's... I don't have a lot of time to proc anything. I'm out of magic. I'm gonna miss this. Yep, waste of a whole phase. Ow. Is there a deal with these that I can do something? I'm stuck on nothing. Got it. Let me guess he activates more as he gets lower in health. Yeah, okay. Fun fight already. I'm saying this semi-sarcastically because I don't really have a lot of room to move. And I'm out of magic, which is my #1 way of dealing with these things. Kinda have to drink a potion. And I'm gonna get punished really heavy for that. So I need to, like, be able to plant a pressure plate down. And I think I need to arm one of these spots. Maybe. I got one pressure plate down. I'd like to get more while I still have time to breathe. Cool. I got 3 pressure plates down. I have a feeling I can probably make do with this. Cool. Oh, we just gotta make sure we hit you a couple times. He's gonna teleport away. And when he teleports, he does have his shield up. So there's no point in trying to trap... There's no point in trying to trap where he's teleporting to. We really just need to have an ethereal trap here and hope that one of them steps on it. That was not the right trap, but I'm not gonna get this in time. Nope, and he's gone. Okay. I really need to buff myself. So let's try... They're kind of doing fire stuff now. Let's see if we can get ourselves ethereal again. For half second here. Okay, that took out a couple of them. I can use the time when he's doing his thing to try to buff myself, but I'd like to try to buff myself here, because I kind of need to. I need to have better mana regen. Come here, both of you. Okay, or one. Sniper shot. Then he'll teleport away. He seems to do that even faster now, so that's cool. I did get another hit on him, though. There we go, that's 2 of them. Okay. Here we go. Now we got all 5 of them, and he is spraying me with magic. So we just need them to do an attack of some kind. Oh, he's gonna keep repeating that now that he's low. Okay. Well, let's see if we can't get a couple traps off. There's one. These things can actually body block his magic, which is hilarious for being the Lich guy. Master of beast golem thingies. Okay. Okay, now that I only have 1 alive, I should probably worry about food and stuff. Let's see, we can do this. This is regen. I'll take that. And then this is magic. Ow. Wait, oh, what do you mean? Shoot him. Okay, we got a hit. What do you mean no compatible ammo equipped? F off with that stuff. Moving. They're really close. Okay. Sniper shot, and then one more. No! Why didn't you draw your bow? Whatever, it's fine. Ow. That one triggered the trap early, which sucked. It's fine. Oh, I got stuck on the body. Not cool. There we go. Nice. One more. Sniper shot can't miss. There we go. And these guys are back. Okay. Hopefully for the last time. Oh, what the heck? Interact with the pressure plate, please. Oh, that was... that was something. All my food buffs wore off because it takes so long to fire the bow. That's okay. We did good. Small arena, lots of enemies, but they're weak to magic. So we spam magic, because of course they're weak to magic. Deal with the dying Forge Master. Oh, hi. He chose his path, let you know where to complain about consequences. Did nothing wrong, nothing you wouldn't have done. Over a century, torment, enslavement, imprisonment. No one would have done any different. Yeah, I mean, sure. Rustlich armor, nice. Interesting. Rustlich boots. Rustlich helmet. I am curious what this stuff looks like. Oh my god! I didn't realize I'd have pointy face like that. I didn't realize that was his face. I thought it was like a helmet or something. That's weird. Okay, so now what? Speak to the headmaster. Okay. You guys don't have a fast way out of here? What's this? Maybe this is... No, this is where I entered, so over here? I didn't even look over here. Oh, it's an immaculate. No, I'd rather not. You know what? I've changed my mind. We don't need to explore this right now. I love watching the enemies just T-pose and fall over. Or A-pose, whatever pose they're actually doing. Looks like A-pose more to me. My poor stamina. What's the heart mean? Energized. Oh, reduce skill cooldowns. Nice. I doubt this game has anything fun, but I would love for you to show up in the Rust Lich armor and see if the Academy people say anything different. Like, you just walk up and they're like, ah, you! Like, what are you doing here? Or, oh my god, or if the guards attack you on sight. It's kind of funny that you can get their armor, which is cool. I love that you can get their armor, but I find it funny that you can do that and then, like, look exactly like them and nobody's like, oh yeah, that's not cool, man. I come stumbling back into town, 6 arrows to my name.
What do you need?
I'm not selling the Lich armor. Okay, Lich armor, go away. They should add armor stands in this game. You know what? The alchemist probably has corruption potions. I gotta use this stuff up. We got flour in here. We've got... I don't know if I have any eggs or anything, but I know I've got sugar in here. There's salt. Sugar. That should help. Angel food cake. Cheesecake. Definitely making more of that. Jam. Sure. Bread. Where's my bread? I just saw it. Oh, I can make bread. I'm dumb. Let's see. We need to use the eggs up wisely. Pumpkin pie would be a good one.
Well, what do you need?
Nine of these. Ridiculous. I feel like I have way too much food on me.
How can I help you?
You know what? You can just have the crystal powder. It's fine. I don't need it.
Can I help you?
Want to buy something?
What's my bag weight at? 83? That's still really high, but whatever. Cool. Good arrows. Get a lot of that junk out of here. You're a recruiter. The head of the academy is in here, is he not? What else is in here? What you got?
Is there something you need?
Let's see. I already know all that. Economy? I don't think I know that one. Musing of a philosopher. Don't think I have that one either. Why does your armor look way cooler than mine?
Put him up. I'll train ya.
Oh, it's you.
Welcome to Sorbor Academy.
I'm afraid I'm swamped with work right now, visitor. I have a foot-high stack of theses to read and judge, like this one on... Oh my. Good day. Your work leaves an impression. I wish it hadn't come to his death. I don't approve of what was done to him. Here's something you should know.
There's the only noble who didn't hide away in what is now Old Harmat when the scourge hit, but he thought that fact gave him the right to command everyone else, regardless of their consent and regardless of harm.
This
The
pains
undisposed
me.
punishment fits his crimes.
I don't see how we can, without causing serious and unnecessary harm to Sorobor's reputation. Enjoy your reward.
Complete the parallel quest of Sorobor Academy. A tad disappointed I didn't get anything like super cool from them. I guess I got the Rust Lich's armor, but like was kind of hoping that I would have gotten like a, I don't know, like the Rust Lich's armor is neat, but it seems pretty decent, but I don't know, what if I didn't want that? It'd be cool if Sorobor Academy could give me like a different armor set to match a different type of build. But I'll take the 500 silver and elemental particles and all that other stuff.
Greetings, friend. Yes. Farewell, my friend. Greeting. Yes.
All right, well, we've completed Harmattan and Sorobor. So how do we get to New Sirocco and the Three Brothers DLC? That's the question. I don't really know. God, can you imagine some dude walks in with a fleshy bone bow like this? It's just like, oh yeah, yo, what's up? It's cool. Don't worry about it. Okay, I had a side quest for a messenger is waiting for me in the inn in Berg. And that's a main quest, a fallen city. So that has to be how I do it, right? Where's the inn? Is it... Which one of these is the inn? I don't know if I've ever been in the inn in Berg. Is it this? Yeah, Old Coins Inn. I don't think I've been in here.
How are you? I wonder.
Greetings, friend.
Kerouac.
Curious.
Our goddess has need of you. Our old ally Sirocco is in dire peril, requires immediate aid. During the end of the war between the Collective and Levant, the three brothers, the three volcanoes near the city of Sirocco, suffered tremendous seismic shift that caused grave damage to the city. Damage to Sirocco was far worse than initially suspected. There are reports that the city itself has collapsed into the ground. Total reconstruction may be needed for civilization in the regions to survive. I received word from their chamber lord and his nobles since the incident. Fear the worst for them and the city's leaders have survived. Give the second letter. Give them the second letter the message is giving you. Several wagons of food and construction materials are being prepared. Make journey to the Caldera. Inform the leaders of the city as soon as possible that aid is on the way. From there, manage the situation as best you can. Sirocco is an incredible valuable city, regardless of their isolation. Do anything it takes to ensure the future of its people and stability of the region. Sirocco has been a valid ally to us ever since our kingdom was founded. The time has come to return the favor. Calixa has her plate full of just dealing with Levant right now, so this task falls to you. Do Levant proud.
Can you lend me a hand?
Yes. Sure it gets to them safely.
Curious.
Prepare yourself for as best you can. It's an incredibly hostile region. Encounter several creatures there that have learned how to penetrate even the most resistant armor.
This worries me.
Be ready for anything. I sure hope I am. Travel to the Caldera region south of Enmerkar. Okay. I mean, I don't see any reason why not to just go do that immediately.
Hey there.
No, I don't want the halberd. No. Okay. I mean, I don't know how many rations it's gonna take. They said several days, be prepared, all this other stuff. So, like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to access my chest. There's so many questions. Maybe for next time, though. Maybe we chill in our house here and call it there. So I think that's going to be it for tonight. It's been a fun run. Thanks everybody for stopping by. And if you've been catching the VODs, thank you for watching. And I will see you guys hopefully Wednesday. Bye-bye.